Hand down, man down. Fisher for three. Bang!
This is the Tom and Jerry Sports Show.
Mama, there goes that man.
Shoots, he scores! What a play by Tavares!
The noise you can't ignore.
What up? Welcome back to another episode of the Tom and Jerry Sports Show. Hope everybody had a nice Memorial Day weekend, nice 3-day weekend.
Yeah, even though only one of the days was nice, which was yesterday.
Yeah.
So,
the weather's been kind of sucky lately.
Yeah, and it's right back to it again today.
Yeah.
But on other news, let's get into some sports, like always. It's been
NHL playoffs is getting interesting. In the NBA playoffs, we already have the one half of the finals, and we're waiting to see who wins the Heat and Pacers series. That is currently 2-1 Heat. Other news, baseball going into 50 games now.
Yeah. Miguel Cabrera still doing his thing.
Yeah. We'll get into that a little bit later. Also, we spoke about this last week or 2 weeks ago with Sergio Garcia and Tiger Woods having a little feud. Well, that really kicked up again into high gear this time with a racist comment, supposedly. Yeah. But we'll get into that. We'll really get into that in a little bit. Also, I want to talk about, the rest of baseball, really.
Yeah.
And that'll be it. But first, we'll get into the NBA playoffs. The Spurs really took care of the Memphis Grizzlies. And going into the series, we actually thought the Grizzlies might have been the best Western Conference team. But the Spurs are really didn't like that comment, I guess.
No, I guess not.
Not at all.
Tony Parker wasn't too fond of it either. I mean, he exploded this whole series.
Yeah, I mean, Tony Parker, the beginning of the season, going into the All-Star break, I thought he was going to be at least maybe first or second in the MVP vote, and then he got hurt. So it really kind of killed his, MVP, vibe, but, I guess you could say.
It looks like he's back to the form of the early regular season. I mean,
he exploded.
He had 37 points last night.
Yeah. In
the deciding game 4, and I mean, Memphis just had a problem scoring. They had,
they brought him into the overtime, I think, twice in this series.
Yeah.
But it's just the Spurs are too much. And you know what it is, going into the playoffs, I really didn't think Manu Ginobili was going to be that much of a difference because of his injuries and everything, but he pretty much is the difference right now because Tim Duncan and Tony Parker have really been doing what they've been doing all season. Mm-hmm. So, this team has gone to the finals.
Popovich knows his team.
So
he knows his players, and he takes care of them during the regular season very well. I mean, we saw it with his team getting fined because they didn't even show up to the game.
Yeah. So he knows how to really carry his old guys.
Yeah, exactly.
And
his big three.
Yeah. And really keep them fresh, for the most important time of the year.
And
really,
the best part about that is you're making yourself go 10, 11, 12 deep. You know. And that's what the Spurs are. They can go easily 10, 11 deep.
Exactly.
So, I mean, they're a threat to whoever does win the East. And this is my problem with the NBA is just a little self thing. But you knew Indiana and Miami was going to be a long series. Why were they so far behind San Antonio and the other series? Now San Antonio is going to be waiting at least a week, if not more.
Definitely.
For whoever wins the Miami, Indiana, which everyone knew was going to be at least 6 or 7 games.
Yeah, God bless the Spurs if this goes 7. I mean, this is...
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense to me that the Miami, Indiana started so much later. I believe it was 2 days later. That they already had 2 games in before the Miami started. So it just makes no sense to me, but...
I really, the whole playoffs, I really didn't like how they really set it up. I mean, the Spurs played game 1 of this series before the Heat even finished last series. I think it was the same day or the day after or something like that. But I mean, that's way too close.
Yeah.
To be starting the second round. At least wait until the second round starts. All the teams are in. but
very, very badly mishandled, it seems, by
Yeah.
the NBA. But it's just a little rant there off
Yeah.
topic. But
Right.
Memphis just wasn't able to score. That just seems to be the problem. I mean, they don't have that go-to guy since
You know what
Rudy
it
Gay
was?
left.
You
Rudy
know,
Gay left.
Zach Randolph really couldn't do what he did all year pretty much. Tim Duncan really, held him in check. Even their other bigs. I mean, Marc Gasol, you really didn't hear about him in this series. Conley.
Yeah,
their big guys didn't really step up in the series.
Yeah, Memphis' advantage going into any series is defense and the big guys.
Yeah.
But San Antonio has the big guys to match up with that, and that created why that created the problem of why Memphis got swept.
The scary thing is, I feel like, I mean, this is my opinion, but I feel like Tim Duncan is playing the best he's played in God knows how long. I mean,
he made the All-NBA team at 37, I believe he is. So it's unbelievable that he's still going at this rate. But I mean, that goes back to Popovich.
It's disgusting.
Just knowing his team and knowing how to take care of his team, especially his three older guys.
I mean, it's so funny because you watch Tim Duncan play and he's so slow, but everything he does just works. I mean, his defense is really well. He played, watching the Lakers play, Tim Duncan, I mean, his defense was amazing. Then you go into this series, his defense was good too. But then, his hooks, his jump shots were working. I mean, the whole playoffs he's been playing well. But they sweep Memphis, go right into the finals. And now we're just waiting on Indiana and Miami,
which is only 3 games done. And so San Antonio is going to be waiting for a very long time.
Yeah,
and we don't know how obviously that's going to play off. If it's going to help them or hurt them. But I do believe Game 4 is tonight between the Indiana Pacers and Miami Heat. So
yes, sir.
Indiana definitely needs to bounce back after that embarrassing defeat at home. Which they weren't even in the game. It seems like the entire time Miami controlled that game.
Yeah, it was pretty much over at at halftime. It was 70-56. The Heat set a franchise record for the most points in half in the playoffs.
Yeah,
they also set a record at the end of the game with the least amount of turnovers for the franchise, at least.
They had more points by half than, I mean, it seems like the Knicks were getting in the entire game. So, but Indiana definitely needs to come out with a different mentality. I mean, they need to bring back what they were doing in Miami. I mean, they need to attack. Yeah, they need to attack. They need to get after them. They need to get in the heads of the Miami Heat, and that's, that's the only way you can really get to Miami. Is just get in their heads.
Watching the first 2 games, Paul George played very good defense on.
Yes, he did.
LeBron James, except for that, that last second,
which could have happened to everyone, anyone, by the way.
He just over pursued it.
Yeah.
But he played very good defense, and he was kind of working him on the offensive side too. I mean, there was times where I saw him blow past LeBron James, and you usually don't see that.
Yeah.
And Paul George really, and I've been hearing from everybody. Everybody says the same thing. Paul George is really, setting himself up to be a star in this league. And could you just imagine if they did have Danny Granger playing?
Yeah.
I mean, the way that Paul George is playing.
But that's the thing. I mean, he may not be doing that if Granger was playing too.
This is true. But the first game, like I said, it went down to a buzzer beater. LeBron, it was pretty much a layup.
Yeah.
Easy layup. And the Hibbert, questions went in about, him not being in on that play. My personal opinion, I thought he should be because, even I'm not saying that LeBron wasn't going to score. I'm just saying that it was going to be a little bit harder than it was actually.
He may not have just gone instantly into the hole if Hibbert was there.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. It's going to be in the back of his head that, Roy Hibbert is there in the paint, so I can't do this.
Exactly.
So, it just, a lot of factors come into this, with that buzzer beater. Does he drive with Hibbert in the paint? If he does drive, will it be as easy as the layup line that he pretty much did in that?
But, we don't know if Hibbert would even get over in time to
Yeah, that's
get in front of
you
him
know, that's
if
what
he
I'm
did the
saying.
same
There's a lot of
play.
factors
Yeah.
that go in on it. My personal opinion, I thought Hibbert would be there because
he would be in.
it would just be smart enough because, you know, I'd rather Bosch, you know, take a 3-pointer.
No, yeah. He
You
would
know-
if he was in the game, he would have been at the rim anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Regardless of
Exactly. So, you know, that's just how it is. And it was actually perfect because game 2, it came down to like 42 seconds left. LeBron had a turnover. They get the ball again. Pacers are up 4. He goes down again, but Bosch, they kind of like set up a screen. Bosch went out to 3-point line, and Hibbert stayed in the paint when LeBron came down, and LeBron had to pass it. And it was a bad pass. Ended up being a turnover, game over.
Yep.
So that you know, that right there
Yeah.
just shows, you know, what could have happened in
Yeah.
that game 1. And you know what? Instead of the Heat being up 2-1 right now, it could be the Pacers being up 2-1. So this series kind of goes both ways. I really like this series.
Yeah. No, and that's why Indiana really has to, you know, prove that those first 2 games, you know, were the real deal. And you
Yeah.
know, game 3 was just a fluke.
See, the main thing is LeBron's going to score his points.
Yeah.
He's going to score his points, whether it be a bad shooting game or a good shooting game. He's going to score his points.
Yeah.
That's just how all the superstars play. Kobe's going to score his points whether it's bad or a good game.
we saw that with Melo.
Yeah,
The entire
Melo.
playoffs, he's going to get his points.
Yeah.
Durant's going to get his points. But
Exactly.
I think the key is stopping Miami's role players, as we saw in the first 2 games. When Ray Allen, Shane Battier, all those guys are missing shots.
They were terrible.
They were all terrible,
I mean-
and that Indiana was in the game though because of that. And
Exactly.
that's exactly what you have to do because, as you just said, LeBron, Wade, Bosch, they'll get whatever points they're gonna get. But stopping, you know, Chris Anderson from
Yeah.
doing what open
Exactly,
layups that
yeah.
he gets, he seems to get. I mean, I think he's going like 14 for 14 or something.
Yeah.
Something
Well, he
going
was 7 for
crazy.
7 in
Yeah.
one of the games. I think it was game 2.
So, I mean, those are obviously wide open shots he's getting.
Yeah.
So stop that a little bit. Stop the role
You
players.
got,
from
yeah,
doing
you got
what
to
they
stop
do.
that. Ray Allen was kind of in the first 2 games. He was kind of a liability.
Yeah, he was.
I mean,
serious funk.
turnovers,
Missing
missing
free
shots, missing free throws. His missed free throw pretty much, you know, lost
Yeah.
him the game.
And he's missed a ton of free throws. Well, a ton for
Yeah.
Ray Allen, but
He's a 90% career
yeah.
free throw shooter. 90%.
And we're talking about a long career too.
Yeah. So, you know, that's just, you know, when you talk about missing free throws, you know, a lot of people miss free throws, but when you're a 90%
Yeah.
free throw shooter,
You
it's
gotta-
a big deal.
Yeah,
it's a
no,
big
it
deal.
is. It is.
So, but like we said, Miami's up 2-1 now. This series is pretty much just getting started.
That's what it feels like. I mean,
I feel like this is gonna go either 6 or 7.
Yeah.
Definitely 6.
At least
Maybe
6.
7.
Yeah.
Maybe 7. But,
unless if Miami wins tonight,
Indiana
it could be
has to
going
win
5.
in Indiana.
Yeah,
They have to.
That's just a must.
you know, you can't lose in your home. You know, Miami took home field advantage back.
Yeah.
So you have to win tonight.
And that's the thing. If you don't win tonight, I mean, this could be over in 5. Just
Yeah.
just like that. I mean.
By the
out
way,
of nowhere.
we're recording this on Tuesday.
yeah,
So,
the day of the game.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, this is going to be a good series. It's going to be interesting. And we don't know if this rest will be good or bad for the Spurs. It might be actually good because of
you would say it's good just
their
because
age.
of the age
Yeah.
factor, but I mean, just the fact of playing in a competitive game,
Yeah.
that's the thing.
Yeah, we're gonna take a break. We're gonna get into a little Sergio and Tiger Woods feud and some NFL being greedy. Keep it locked. You're listening to the Tom and Jerry Sports Show on All Noise Radio and the Live 365 app.
And welcome back to the Tom and Jerry Sports Show on All Noise Radio and the Live 365 app. Sergio Garcia just seems to continue to have something to say about Tiger Woods, and this time it was a little bit more serious, it seems, than
Somewhat.
the others. And you know, I know everyone's got mixed opinions about, you know, this whole thing, but I'll let you get into what exactly.
Well,
Got
supposedly there was a dinner or something like that, and he was talking, and he was getting an interview. One of the guys that were interviewing him said, "Oh, will you have Tiger Woods over for dinner during the U.S. Open?" Which the U.S. Open is coming up, I think, next weekend. Or is it this weekend?
I know, I think it's next.
And Sergio Garcia kind of like, I guess jokingly, he said it was jokingly, or something like that. But he said, yes, every night we'll make sure we have fried chicken. Now, everybody knows the stereotype
Yeah.
of fried chicken. But you know what? I know a lot of people that would be proud to say, oh, yes, I do like fried chicken. I do like Kool-Aid. I do like watermelon. Me, personally, I love all three of those.
I love all three, too.
So, honestly, I love Tiger Woods. I love watching Tiger Woods. I still think he's one of the best athletes in the world. But I thought he just took this totally, out of context. It was a joke.
I think he was.
If he was going to say something racist to really mean something, he probably would have said something worse than this.
Yeah.
Fried chicken
No,
is
I'm-
food. Everybody eats food. Yes, it's a stereotype. If you really got hurt from this,
I don't think he
that's-
did. I mean,
I think it's just trying to stir up more than really is there.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like that.
Well, I think Tiger handled it okay. I mean, if
No,
he wanted to make a big scene about it, it would still be,
Yeah.
going crazy about it. But, he just came out and said it was,
hurtful, yeah.
inappropriate, whatever. But, it's not like we're hearing every day Tiger Woods saying
Yeah.
something new about
Yeah.
all this. He said whatever it was, and then he moved on. He personally probably doesn't care about Sergio because
No,
he
really,
doesn't have to worry about him on the
Yeah.
golf course as we
Exactly.
saw at the Players' Championship. So, I
Tiger
think
Woods really gets in the head of
yeah.
Sergio Garcia.
Oh yeah, but I mean stuff like this just adds it. Like this makes Tiger want to beat Sergio
Yeah.
even more every time.
Yeah, I just didn't like how everything was brought up about it, with the racist comment.
Mm.
Because the thing is, racism is over. Yes, there might be still some racist comments here and there. It's just, just let it go.
Yeah,
The people that are bringing up racist stuff are ignorant. Just let it go.
yeah,
Keep doing what you're doing. Tiger, you're making more money than anybody on that golf course. Anybody.
yeah.
There is no reason to take anything that Sergio Garcia says to heart.
Yeah,
Because
but I mean, also, I'm sure he got asked about a million
Oh, yeah.
times. Like, how do you feel about what
Yeah,
what
well,
Sergio said yesterday?
that's
this
the
and
one
that.
thing that I hate about the media.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just,
They look to blow it up.
Exactly. I mean, like this is really a
This should have been
like,
a
story.
yeah, exactly, a non-story.
this is a
but
non-story, but
as soon as they got that report that Sergio said it, they ran to Tiger. What's your response
Made it a
to,
racist thing.
What's your response to what Sergio said? This,
Yeah.
that. And of course, I mean, he's obviously going to have to answer.
Yeah.
Because you can't just, especially with Tiger Woods, everything he's been through, you can't just
yeah.
blow off the media, just, whatever. So say it was whatever, but
Yeah.
it was ignorant,
I just-
it was inappropriate. But
I just don't like how everything is, they like people just try to take, somewhat of a racist comment and like really blow it
No,
up
yeah.
into a racist
Like,
comment.
we're not
Like,
saying it
this is
wasn't racist.
We're
Like,
not saying we're not saying
was-
it wasn't racist, but you know what?
Don't blow-
everybody
yeah.
everybody eats fried chicken.
Exactly.
So it could be anything. Like
Yeah. Don't blow it out of context. of
Maybe
what it
he was
really
just
is.
saying fried chicken just because he liked fried chicken.
Yeah.
Like say I was, something other than Italian. I'd be like, oh, well, you know what? I'm going to take you out to have some pasta.
Mhm.
Was that racist? Was that racist?
No, I get. I mean,
Exactly. If someone said,
makes a
oh,
lot of sense.
if someone says, oh, I'll have you over to have some pasta, I'd be like,
Okay,
yeah, I'm down.
Exactly.
That's just how I am. You know what? I'm not going to say, oh, you know what is that supposed to mean? Is that racist? Is that racist? No. I love pasta.
Yeah.
I love pasta. If you're going to make me pasta, I'm going to eat it.
Exactly. Same thing with fried chicken. I mean,
Exactly.
everyone's gonna eat it.
Exactly. I like to go to KFC sometimes.
A little bit.
I like to go to KFC sometimes.
I think
Doesn't
Popeyes
mean
is
I'm
better.
racist.
I think Popeyes is better, but
Popeyes is better.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
honestly, I don't really like KFC, but
No.
I'm just trying to,
No, I know.
make a point here. But like that's what I mean. Like, you know what? It's it's just it's just ridiculous how everything is taken out of context, taken
Yeah.
out of proportion.
and it's no one but the media's fault. I mean,
Oh, of course.
they're the
Of
ones
course.
doing it.
But yeah, they are gonna face off again in the U.S. Open coming up. I think it's next week. I will find out for you. But yeah, this it's just a non-story that really blew up into a huge
Yeah.
story that should have never did. Should have never did, but
Yeah, no.
nice English, Jerry. But yeah, this is ridiculous. But we're gonna talk about the NHL playoffs now, and this is getting interesting.
Yeah, I mean,
but
we got-
I want to get your take on it. Eastern Conference and Western Conference. What is your big difference in these two
Mm-hmm.
conferences? Because my opinion is, I feel like the Western Conference is more physical, you know,
defensive.
yeah, like maybe quicker and stuff like that. But
Mhm.
if you go to the Eastern Conference, they're more like elusive.
Yeah, no.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
they're kind of like style kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like if you look at the Penguins, I mean, just look at they're just stacked. They all have skill. It's all about skill kind of on the Eastern Conference.
Mhm.
Western Conference, it's more of
defensive,
Yeah.
tough-minded, especially in
Exactly.
the Detroit Chicago series,
this is a great series.
which is I mean,
This is a great series, and so is San Jose and LA. I mean, San Jose was down 2-0. They went to 2 games at San Jose. Then
LA wins at
LA wins, and then San Jose wins. I mean, this is just a great series.
Yeah,
Detroit also was
they were up 3-1,
3-1.
and now it's
So-
3-3. And Chicago at first couldn't even
But
score a goal.
yeah,
and now
you knew-
all of a sudden they are.
You knew Chicago was too good of a team
Yeah.
to lose 4-1, and the Western Conference is just getting better and better. I mean,
Yeah,
this is a great series.
couple of Game 7s in the Western Conference. I think we're still a little. I mean, I don't want to say decided on the Eastern, but I think we both agree that the Penguins are going to make it through
Yeah.
to the Stanley Cup Finals. Await, whoever it may be, but I mean, yeah, the Western Conference is definitely a lot different type of game than the Eastern Conference games.
Yeah. I mean,
Definitely a lot more physical. I mean, you can just see it.
the thing is, right now with the Penguins, it just changed a lot when Vaughn went in net.
They did, and they really
Honestly, if Fleury was still in net, the Islanders would have got past the Penguins,
Yeah.
and that's my personal opinion. But I really do think that the Islanders would have got past
did. And that's exactly why they
the
took them out.
Penguins. Yeah, I mean, it was a great move.
Yeah,
Honestly, it was a great move, but it was also the must.
it was no
it
other
was the
choice.
must move. Yeah, you really had
Because
to do that.
if they kept him in and then they lost, the head coach gone.
The last 2 years, I mean, Fleury just got everything, in his head,
yeah,
and he just, I mean,
that's pretty much what it seemed to happen.
that
again.
last straw was the Cizikas goal.
Mhm.
I mean, honestly, I think a 2-year-old could have stopped that shot. I mean, that was just terrible. But you know what? It's history. Vaughun's in net.
That's
and
how the great
Penguins-
stories are made. I mean, just obviously
are getting
Vaughn
closer.
he's played before. He's not like just a nobody, but I mean, you just come in as the backup goalie, and the next thing you know, you could be in the Stanley Cup, and that's what looks like the Penguins are going to be doing.
Yeah, and in the Eastern Conference, the Bruins won 4-1 over the Rangers, and they go on to play the Pittsburgh Penguins, who also won 4-1 over the Ottawa Senators.
Yeah, that should be a good
that
series.
series wasn't even close.
No,
I mean, they totally manhandled Ottawa,
Yeah.
and even Ottawa's win was a fluke. I mean,
it was a little fluky. It was an overtime win, I do
Yeah.
believe. So
So I mean, when you have Ottawa, guys like the analysts saying Ottawa has to play more like the Islanders. I mean, that just as an Islander fan, that just kind of gets me all giddy.
yeah, no, I mean that it does because everyone knows how well
Yeah.
the Islanders did play them.
I mean, and then just watching the Ottawa and Penguins play,
It wasn't even.
it was just like the Penguins manhandled
Yeah,
Ottawa,
they
and
did.
it's just and right there just shows you how good the Islanders played.
Mm-hmm.
So
Exactly.
I'm excited to see what the future brings with the Islanders, but right now we got Pittsburgh and Boston. Very, very good series.
Yeah.
I feel.
I believe that starts tonight, right?
I don't
Tonight
know.
or tomorrow? I do believe.
Let me check. Tonight, no. It's the
So
game
then-
7.
Yeah, so it's Wednesday.
It actually is it Wednesday or is it? ESPN is really working right now. Wednesday's the Red Wings Blackhawks.
Yeah.
And I think tonight is the Sharks and Kings. So
So
Saturday.
Game 7's done. Wow, they really.
So this is what I'm saying with the NBA. This is what they should have done. They should have waited until.
No, it makes more sense. I mean, obviously, you don't want to.
So right now, Boston Penguins, this is going to be a very, very good series. One is very defensively minded, and the other team is very offensively minded. So this is going to be a very good series. My matchup that I really want to see is the Crosby and Chara matchup. That's going to be awesome to see. You will not see Crosby out on the ice without Chara on the ice. So it's going to be fun to watch. That's the kind of hockey that you like to watch. And, I mean, then you go over to the Western Conference, both Game 7s. Definitely two good series that you definitely want to watch. This is going to be these two games are going to be great games.
And then even the winners of these two Western Conference games, that's going to be an awesome game. Regardless
of too.
Whatever matchup it is, it's going to be a great matchup. Yeah. So I mean, hockey playoffs is pretty, just getting underway. It seems
exactly.
I mean, it's getting close to the conference finals, which it all comes down to. So
exactly. I mean, last night I watched. Monday night I watched Chicago and the Red Wings, and the Red Wings were up 2-1, and then the third period, Chicago kind of came out, scored two quick goals, go up 3-2, and then all of a sudden they got a penalty shot.
Yeah, well, it was somewhat questionable. It seems
it was questionable.
I think it was the right call. I mean, when a penalty shot is a clear, a disruption of a clear breakaway, which it seemed to have been. Yeah,
he kind of hit his hand or his stick. You really couldn't tell, but he definitely hit in that area with his stick, and it kind of, really factored in on. I mean, the puck just coming off his stick. So you gotta go with the ref, really.
And another thing is, regardless of the penalty shot or not, it's not like Detroit scored again. Which would have tied it if there wasn't a penalty. So,
Well, Detroit ended up scoring to make it 4-3 with 51 seconds left or something like that. So it kind of was.
Yeah. So
it's it's tough to say, but really can't do anything.
Yeah. I mean, the rule's a rule. I mean,
exactly.
A clear path on a breakaway gets disrupted. That's the penalty shot. So
exactly. Well, they both going to Game 7, L.A. Kings and San Jose Sharks, and Detroit Red Wings and the Chicago Blackhawks going into Game 7s within the next 2 days or so. So definitely watch those games. And then, it's on to the conference finals. And they're going to be great series. We're going to take a break. We're going to get into a little, the NFL being a little greedy and some baseball. So keep it locked. Tom and Jerry Sports Show on Illinois Radio and the Live 365 app.
And welcome back to the Tom and Jerry Show on the Illinois Radio and the Live 365 app. We're going to get into the NFL being a little greedy.
Yeah, definitely.
Which is nothing new, but we'll let Jerry get into this a little bit.
I mean, you know what it is? Obviously, as a commissioner, you always want to make money. You always want your league to be talked about 24/7. And, I mean, I guess Roger Goodell is doing a good job at that.
Yeah, there's one part of the good, one part of the commissioner he's doing good at.
It's sad. Honestly, I'm a fan of all four sports. Football, baseball.
Yeah, the four major sports.
The major sports. But you know what? When it's not in season, I don't really want to hear about it. 45 minutes out of the hour show on SportsCenter. I don't want to hear about it.
Yeah.
There's so much that you could talk about football when it's not playing. Right now, you're in OTAs. Okay.
It's like
bring up injuries that you want to bring up. Bring that up. But you know what? Don't start previewing what's going to happen when we still have a month and a half, 2 months to go before the season starts. We have actually 100 days from today, Tuesday, May 28th. We have 100 days until football season starts. Why are we talking 45 minutes out of the day, out of the hour show of SportsCenter? Why are we talking about football when we have baseball that is 50 games into the season already, and probably nobody even knows what baseball is going on right now?
No one knows anything about standings.
Hockey, we're in the playoffs, and it's talked about 5 minutes
At
out
the
of
most.
out of SportsCenter, and then you got NBA playoffs. That's probably the other 25 minutes.
No,
of,
NBA starts it off.
I don't have a problem with
Yeah.
that. I
This
don't
is
have a problem.
SportsCenter.
It is
It's
it is
basketball first, and then NFL.
NFL.
have a night.
Then you'll have a hockey highlight. Then maybe a baseball
And then
highlight.
they'll pitch in at the Baseball Tonight studio
Yeah.
for 2 seconds.
Yeah, and then
That's baseball footage
top 10 plays are all baseball though.
that we never
So
saw.
obviously you see the top 10 plays and it's all baseball, but where are the rest of the highlights?
Yeah.
Yeah,
When they
it's
do
cool.
show highlights, it's like one homer, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh, and they won 7-2. It's like you just showed like one.
But then
home
we'll go
run.
back to the OTAs. Oh, well, Mark Sanchez.
Yeah.
No one cares. No one
it's
cares.
So annoying.
I love football. And that's great and all, but you gotta give the other sports a little chance on SportsCenter at least.
It's pretty bad that
I've stopped watching SportsCenter
I
that
have
much.
to. No,
I used
I have
to
to.
literally. I used to watch SportsCenter from the time I woke up to the time I go out or whatever.
yeah.
During the day
Yeah.
or something like that. And I'll watch the same highlights and everything over and over again. But it's just getting annoying.
Now it's at the point where you can't because it's just the same
Yeah.
stuff, and it's really sad that football has more shows on ESPN right now
yeah.
than baseball, hockey, and
Yeah. I mean,
basketball, pretty much combined.
To talk about hockey, they bring in Barry Melrose. That is it.
that's it.
Barry Melrose.
Nothing against Barry. I mean, he knows
No,
his stuff. but
he does know
we're
his
just
stuff.
saying that.
But I'm just saying when they talk about NFL, they bring
oh
in
my gosh.
this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy.
I don't even know how many people they have for
Yeah.
football.
Then you bring in with baseball, you bring in Buster Olney
Tim Kurchin.
and then like John Kruk.
Crux is the man, by the way.
yeah.
But besides that,
But that's what I'm talking
Yeah.
about. Like, this is ridiculous. And what we're really trying to get at is the NFL has pushed back the draft to May 8th to the 10th.
because everybody wants one more month of Mel Kiper
Which
Jr.
this is their kind of thinking on this is we're gonna have football going into every
Yeah.
month.
This is kind of like a big middle finger to the 3 other leagues that
Exactly.
are actually on at this time.
Exactly.
This is kind of like just saying, well, we know that we're the biggest market in sports, so here you go.
The sad thing is baseball still gets a lot of people to watch, and people don't even know when the draft is.
Yeah.
That's the funny thing,
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I know the season is a 162 game season. I know that. I know hockey is an 82 game season. I know that. I know NBA is an 82
Yeah.
game season, and I know NFL is a 16 game season. I know that, but you know what?
It's getting to the point where it is literally a year long of football.
It really is.
It,
And
like-
like I said, don't get me wrong. I love football. When it's football time, I'm all about football.
Exactly,
but it is not football
it's not
time
football
right now.
so I'm not into football.
Yeah.
I
So-
am in full swing of everything else. I'm enjoying these amazing playoffs that are happening.
Exactly.
I don't want to hear about anything football really. Like Teddy Bruschi, take a day off. Like, go home. Everyone, just go home for
Yeah.
football. Just stop.
And I mean, while we're talking about it, we might as well bring up the news of, of some football. We got Michael Crabtree tearing his Achilles, which isn't really good for San Francisco. Especially,
the thing with that
especially that
is-
he's really up and coming now with Kaepernick as
He
their
had
quarterback.
all career highs last year.
Yeah,
But
it's sad.
we've seen a couple of people come back last year. Terrell Suggs came back with the same injury. I mean, it's torn Achilles, but
Yeah.
a little bit different positions. I mean, I think you need that a little bit more as a wide receiver
Definitely.
than just a pass rusher.
It's
so
gonna be tough
it's
to
definitely
cut
tough.
in stuff like that.
I don't think he'll be back this year.
Nah.
That's too much yet to ask for at this point.
Also, the Seahawks lost their tight end McCoy to an Achilles tear. So, this is kind of being a very,
And that's pretty serious. Two big injuries right
Yeah.
there for two Super Bowl contenders.
I mean, you hear Achilles, for the last couple of months now. I mean, you had
it's
Kobe
been
Bryant.
coming up a lot.
Now you had Anthony McCoy and Michael Crabtree. So, this is, like I said, when Kobe got hurt, This is the worst injury as an athlete. This is the worst injury you can ever have, really.
Yeah. Well, especially with today's day and age with the torn ACLs and all that.
And like this is not bringing up any kind of like spinal injury, obviously.
Well, yeah, that.
Because that obviously is the worst because you cannot play anymore. But as a player, as an athlete, this is the worst injury you can have because pretty much your Achilles is, you know,
it's your life in a way. I mean,
yeah, pretty much.
It's like the root of your whole body.
You don't have, you know, if your Achilles tears, you can't walk. You can't.
It's as simple as that.
It was kind of insane that you actually saw Kobe walk to the free throw line and actually take 2 free throws after he tore it. But you know, this is a terrible injury, especially for Michael Crabtree. You know, just the way that the season went for him last year. You know, being, you know,
and you
rising
really,
again.
Yeah, and you really saw the connection with him and Kaepernick.
Yeah,
and it was, you could tell that it was the number one wide receiver type thing. So it's definitely a huge loss for the 49ers. I think this puts a lot more. I don't want to say a lot. It puts a lot more pressure on Bolden. Or not. I don't want to say pressure, but I think he's gonna have to get a lot more catches earlier on in the year, which I think can create a problem for the 49ers if you get him hit too much at his age too early.
Yeah.
Because with the Ravens last year, he wasn't a big regular season guy. I mean, not a lot of people realize that. It's not like he had this crazy regular season and continued. I mean, he just went into beast mode in the playoffs. That was it. I mean, so if you're giving him too much early, I mean, I think that can take away from what he can give you later on in the year.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is the big news of football that we just brought up. That was the big news. Not like you start looking through, Michael Vick is working again with the first team.
And this is what we don't understand. It's like how they can have these shows. And that's what they talk about, like Michael Vick practicing with the first, like, no one
The
cares.
season is not even close to being started.
I don't care until opening night. And opening night, opening kickoff for my team is what I personally care about.
The thing is, when you start going through preseason games, I don't like to watch.
I'm still
preseason games.
not caring.
Preseason games are boring to me. All I listen for is the injuries. As long as we could get out of the preseason without any big injuries, I'm fine with that. That's all that cares. That's all I care about, really.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm with you.
I will not watch. I'll watch maybe the first quarter of each game.
And that's even pushing it.
Yeah.
Because sometimes the starters don't even make it that long.
Yeah. But once it's football season, I'm all for football season. I am all for football season. And if you guys have listened to us, with our YouTube radio,
we love football.
We know our stuff. We know what we're talking about with football. When it's football season, we are all football.
Yeah.
We are all football. I mean, I actually had to come on one time in the show and actually tell you we're going to talk about other sports eventually.
Yeah.
But we are all football right now. But now this is, it's baseball season. It's baseball season. It's NBA playoffs and NHL playoffs. This is the best time of the year for those two sports. And, you're getting towards...
This is my personal favorite time of the year.
Yeah.
Baseball being my favorite sport.
Yeah.
I can
Baseball
watch it
is my
anytime.
favorite sport, too.
But just having the two playoffs going at the same time with baseball, I mean, it's just really... It's special to see. I mean, you got 3 of the 4 sports going. Basically, and it's all going. I mean, you got 2 playoffs.
The thing is right now, because, people that watch, TV shows and everything, now it's all over.
Mm-hmm.
The season finales have already gone and lost. Now, now it's baseball. Yep. It's really baseball. It comes to 7 o'clock, baseball.
No, yeah.
It's all about the Yankees.
I'm with you. Well, not on that, but...
But, yeah, that's pretty much what we were talking about. But get into a little baseball before we go on a break. What I really want to talk about is the Subway Series started Monday night. The Mets beat the Yankees 2-1, but that really wasn't the story of it.
Or at least for you.
Yeah. The story kind of was, how Citi Field wasn't packed.
Yeah. This has been getting brought up a lot, though. Like, not just... I mean, you hear it a lot on the radio, and you hear it a lot everywhere. I mean...
But, I was listening to Colin Cowherd on The Herd on ESPN Radio, and he was talking about, how maybe like St. Louis is a better baseball town, Boston, stuff like that than New York, and how the Yankees and the Mets have new stadiums and they can't fill them, but you go to Dodgers or something like that, and the Dodgers and the Angels, and they're underachieving, and they have older stadiums, but they're 1 and 2 in crowds and stuff like that. The thing is, right now with the Yankees and the Mets, it is so expensive to go see
That's the main problem.
Losing team.
Yeah.
You do not want to go to see a losing team. And I'm not saying the Yankees are
well, I was
losing.
just going to say, and the Yankees aren't losing, but
the Yankees aren't losing right now.
still, no one wants to pay over, $100 to sit in even Yankee Stadium.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be close to $300 for the game, train, food, beer, whatever. When you can sit on your couch in your room, room temperature room, in your chair, your special chair, you got your special drinking glass, whatever. You can have your friends over, and you can watch more than just that game.
Exactly.
And that's what it's coming to these days with baseball. It seems to be happening more than the other sports. And with the attendance.
You know what it is? Like, there's nothing like going to a baseball game.
No,
I love going to baseball games. But it's just, it sucks. It sucks, paying that much money to actually get that. But we'll talk more about this in the next segment. We're going to take a break. You're listening to the Tom and Jerry Sports Show on All Noise Radio and the Live 365 app. Keep it locked.
And welcome back to the Tom and Jerry Show on All Noise Radio and the Live 365 app. I just want to ask you a quick question, Jerry. If you think the Yankees still had the old stadium, would they be getting better attendance right now?
Absolutely.
And I'm 100% on board with you.
Absolutely.
And I don't know if it's the same for Shea, but I think it would be a little bit. But especially with Yankee Stadium, that's the reason why I asked you that, because people are attached to that stadium.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. No one cares about it. They know there's no history in this new stadium.
Yeah.
They're not going to spend all that money to sit in a stadium that's just a new stadium. There's nothing to it.
See, like, with me is, I've been to the old stadium so many times, and I've been to the new stadium so many times. You know what it is? There's a lot of kind of different with it. The new stadium is kind of more towards... Even actually, you know what? Both stadiums were more business oriented. With the new stadium, they have the Yankees Museum, which is really nice. If you haven't gone, go there. Maybe an hour before the game, go in there. It's actually really cool to see. Then you have just, the cushion seats. It's kind of different.
Mm-hmm.
But it's expensive, though. It's expensive. And the thing that I've noticed, the thing that's big with me is the old stadium was louder.
Yeah.
It was a lot louder. And don't get me wrong, I like the new stadium can get loud too, because I was there 2009 when they won the World Series. I was there for the ALCS Game 6 when they clinched it against the Angels. And I was there the series before that in the ALDS Game 2 where A-Rod hit the 2-run home run off of Joe Nathan in the 9th to tie it, and then Teixeira hit the walk-off. I was there for both games, and it was just as loud.
Yeah.
But I've been there for, the old stadium, and during the regular season, it was really loud, So it's kind of different in that kind of sense.
Yeah, my feeling is I've been to the old stadium too. I haven't been to the new one, but with the old one, it's maybe I'm not a Yankee fan, obviously, as everyone knows, but it seems like there was just like an aura around the old stadium that obviously the new one's not going to have. And I think that's got a reason why, a lot of, guys say 40 to 50, 40 to 60 range in that area that, grew up in that old stadium, that, were attached to that stadium. They're not going to want to go to this new stadium because it doesn't have that, and they're not going to want to spend $100 to sit in a stadium that, has no history, has no, attachment to them.
Yeah.
They're not going to do it.
See, like, I love the new stadium. I love the new stadium, and I love the old stadium. Would I rather the old stadium, maybe renovated? That would be awesome.
Yeah.
That would be great. The new stadium, it's awesome. I love that place. I love going to that, with the big screen. It's awesome. It's just stuff like that. But, with Citi Field, I feel like, I don't know. I feel like Yankee Stadium is better, but I've heard a lot of people say that they think Yankee Stadium is worse than Citi Field.
Yeah. City's obviously the bigger of the fields.
Yeah. And that's I don't even want to hear that.
No, I'm not saying that has anything to do with
I'm saying like
performance or anything like that.
Met fans always say that, it's like a wiffle ball field, but meanwhile, both center fields are 408.
Yeah.
So
it just seems like there's a lot more, there's a lot more places to hit it in Citi Field.
Yeah.
But I would have, even as a non-Yankee fan, I would have liked them to just renovate the old one.
Yeah.
Rather than build a new one. Because, they just tore down, this team they have now got built through the history of what went through that stadium.
Yeah.
From, past 1994 to where we are currently. And they destroyed it. Everything that team built, they literally just tore it down. And that's where my problem stands in.
Yeah.
Is that, it just shows no care in a way to what, you literally just, what George just built. He built a dynasty in that stadium, and they just tore it down. That's where my problem stands in. It's not a major problem, but it's just...
You know what it is? It was actually George's idea of how, like, this whole thing was going to be played out, like, this whole stadium. And, and like I said, I love the new stadium. I love, everything about it. It kind of sucks with the bleachers, with the obstructed view. I think they could have did a little bit better job of that. But you know what? It's, with Yankee Stadium, everybody says, it's always business. And there's nothing really for kids to do. But you know what? And then, like, people say, with Citi Field, it's more kids related. They can do a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? You're not going to a baseball game to go play video games in center field. It's not happening.
Mm-hmm.
Why spend that kind of money to go out into center field and play video games or do a wiffle ball game? Why?
Yeah. Like, it's one thing with the San Diego. They have, like, the sand trap thing, and the Arizona has the pool that we know of. But I think that's what
Milwaukee with the slide.
Yeah, and that's one thing. And, having the outfield thing, like a little sand trap, because the parents are sitting there with the kids right next to them. They're not, and the parents can still watch the games. It's just mostly for the kids, But when you're not even in the same room as the game going on,
that's what I'm saying.
That's the problem.
Like, when you go to Citi Field, you go into center field. It kind of opens up to, like, a big, like, food court. Like, they have, like, a big, like, video game kind of thing. It's kind of like going to a minor league game.
Mm-hmm.
You know how they have, like, the pitch stuff, like the pitch miles per hour.
It's like
and
a little
stuff
carnival
like that.
festival thing going on.
Why spend that kind of money to do what you can do at home?
Yeah.
You could play video games in your living room. Go play video games in your living room.
Yeah.
I'm going to a game to watch the game. I don't want anything else, getting my attention. I want to be watching the game. I'm spending $70 for seats. Obviously I'm gonna want to sit in my seat.
Yeah. And another big thing is, bringing up the food court. Food has a big part to do with this.
Yeah.
Also, you can stay at home and then basically have a buffet going. You got the wings, the chips, the dip, all this and that.
Spend the same kind of money that you spent for a chicken tender.
Yeah. That's exactly my point. If you want to feast out at a game, you're insane. Like,
you're spending a lot of money. I'm telling you, right now at Yankee Stadium, the beer is $10.50.
Yeah, that's
a beer is $10.50, and it's a regular, like, medium-sized cup that you get at, like, McDonald's or something like that.
Insane.
And then if you go to, like, they have chicken tenders with, like, fries in, like, one thing. You get 3 chicken tenders that are maybe the size of my hand.
Mm-hmm.
All right, size of my
It's
hand.
a small hand, by the way, guys.
Yeah, exactly. And you're spending $10 for that and fries. Then if you want cheesy fries,
Oh, watch no.
just cheesy fries by itself, it's like $7.50.
Oh my gosh. So I mean that's 20 right there. Beer and food.
That's what I'm saying. And a drink itself is like $7.
When
So,
you
like,
can get, I don't even know how many wings for $20.
That's what I'm saying.
yeah. So
you know,
people
it's
are
just-
staying home for that
it's
exact
crazy.
reason.
It's crazy. You know what it is? You know, like they said, you know, that New York isn't a better baseball town than
I don't
other
think
places.
it's definitely not.
It's
that.
not. It's not that. You're the money.
We're just not.
You're
suckers.
losing. You're losing those true fans.
Yeah.
You can't be a true fan and just be like, oh, you know what? I'm going to that game next week. I'm going to that game the week after that. I'm going to go to this game. I'm going to go to this game. You can't do that anymore.
You can't.
You got to be like, oh, you know what? I only have
You can
a certain
literally-
amount
yeah,
of money.
Exactly.
You know, what game would I rather go to?
I mean,
You know, that's how I feel right now.
just average guys like us. I mean, you're lucky to get 1 to 2 games a month.
Yeah.
If that. I mean, 1 month of a game. So 1 game a month.
Like when
excuse me,
I
but-
like when I was younger, with the old stadium,
Constantly going to
I
games.
went to literally. I went
Yeah.
to at least 10 games a season.
I was the same way with Shay when I was younger with my my
it's-
whole family, and it was just like, you want to go to a Mets game kind of thing,
Yeah.
and we would just go.
And it's sad because the Mets actually, I think they were like 60% full last night at Citi Field. With that, and they gave away I think they said 2,000 tickets to military personnel, which it's great
Yeah.
and everything, but you're giving away tickets.
Yeah.
You're giving away tickets. That means that you're not doing well. In ticket sales.
Yeah,
if you're
that's a
giving
pretty
away
good sign.
2,000.
Yeah.
They were giving away like a couple thousand tickets, which is ridiculous. And it's awesome at the same time because it is Memorial Day. We are,
Yeah,
we're
we're not saying that, but we're just saying from the general standpoint that
that you're
when you
giving away
have to,
tickets.
you have to give away tickets to put,
It's
put
bad.
people in the stadium. That's not good. And
And I know. Supposedly, I read something. I think I forget where I read it from. They did bring down the prices a little bit, with Yankees and the Mets. But still, I mean, you know what? For cheap tickets, for me, I've noticed, for right field, it would be left field. I sat 5 rows from the wall in fair territory, for $70. Those are cheap tickets.
yeah,
Those are cheap tickets,
That's
and you're paying for a very good seat. This is a really good seat. Me and my friend used to go on StubHub, buy those tickets every time.
yeah.
$70 was not that much for Yankee tickets. And it's bad that now it's first of all, you never see anybody in that 10 row around from first base to third base. Never see anybody in those. Never.
No, you don't. You're
Except
right.
for
yeah.
celebrities, maybe Mayor Giuliani,
Yeah.
stuff like that. That's the only people that you're going to see in those seats, because I mean, you're looking at, for a regular game, say it's Yankees Orioles, regular game, you're looking at $1,000 tickets for one seat.
It's insane. I mean,
It's crazy.
and another
crazy.
thing, comparing LA or the Dodgers and all
Yeah.
that to us, is weather. I mean,
That too.
they're looking at 85 and sunny every day.
Yeah.
I mean, you look outside right now. We're looking
It's
at
overcast.
straight,
Yeah.
overcast, gray skies, and wind.
Yeah,
Who's gonna want to go to sit in that in a game?
that's what I'm saying. It's just.
Who's gonna pay over $100 to sit in?
And that's another thing that I was really not happy with. You're making a new stadium. Make it a dome. Make it a
Every-
retractable roof.
Every baseball stadium should have a retractable roof, so
That's-
there are no rain delays during the World Series.
Yeah.
That is a joke. I'm sorry.
it really
that is
is.
a joke.
And you know what? The thing is, you would get so much more sporting events come to us
Exactly.
if we did have, even Giant Stadium. Why are you making that an open stadium? Why? Because now look at it. This is probably going to be the last time you're going to see the Super Bowl in New York. Or New Jersey, really.
Yeah.
This is the last time, because after they're going to see the weather, from this Super Bowl, they're gonna think twice. You know, obviously it's calling like the Ice Bowl or whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can't have an open field stadium, especially in New York, because of the weather.
Yeah.
Especially if you want other sporting events. You know, you're looking at the Super Bowl, maybe even the Olympics.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if it's something that can generate your stadium a lot of money, even though it costs a lot, we're not saying, you know, obviously it's not cheap to throw on retractable roofs, but, you know, our point is, you're not going to be getting any rain delays in your game.
Yeah.
You know, you're going
to have more sporting events come.
You're going to have more sporting events come. You're not messing your team up with getting double headers later on in the year because of all these rain delays. There would be no more of that in baseball, so teams aren't getting screwed over on off days, stuff like that. It just makes more sense to have every team with it.
Exactly. But that is it for our show. You're listening to the Tom and Jerry Sports Show. I'm Jerry.
And I'm Tom.
Be breezy. Thanks for listening to another episode of the Tom and Jerry Show.